question that we would want to look at is, what then become of the beast? And if we look at chapter 13, verse 4, we are seeing, and I can even read chapter 13, verse 4. 13, verse 4, where we are seeing the dragon is being worshipped and giving the beast such power that they also worshipped the beast, who, with a great feast, they screamed, "Who is able to fight against this beast?" And among many other verses in that chapter 13, it keep me asking, then as we look at chapter 14, does this then mean that the beast, and the beast is the enemy of the God's people, does it mean that even as John is giving us this vision, is it that now the evil one is victorious even over us? And even at the end of the age, what will happen to the beast? But what we are seeing in this chapter, it's a confirmation that the beast is defeated. Because the chapter 14 starts with a very clear picture that is painted to us that the 1444, hey, 144,000. That's a very special group that went through, and we can see them in chapter 13 at the beginning of that very great time of hardship and tribulation for the believers, for those who followed Christ. We see them at the beginning. They are struggling, but in chapter 14, we still see them at the beginning of the chapter. And in this beginning of the chapter, they are seated with the Lamb in Mount Zion. And for all of us Christians, we see every time Mount Zion is mentioned, this is a place of grace, this is a place of peace, this is a place of joy where the victors stand. And this is the same place where we are seeing now the Lamb, who is Jesus Christ, with the 144 sitting there, pointing to the victory that they earned from what was happening in chapter 13. And just a brief description of what these 144 are. These are the group of the Jews who are able to endure, according to the vision that John was given, who are able to endure all what was going on in this life. And even as they continued, they are given and described as people who are not who did not defile themselves in any way. They never worshipped the beast. They never took whatever that system was offering, but they were able to keep themselves clean. And then we see from the beginning of that verse, we are seeing them sitting there now with the Lamb and being given all the victors' features or the names. They are being told, we are being told that they were able to overcome, and even not only overcoming, they never at any point in their life defiled themselves. And as we see, even as we continue reading, they were not able to defile themselves even with the women, or they died as virgins. Because as we are reading here now, they are already, according to the vision, they are already martyred, they have already died. So they are able to keep themselves pure from any form of defilement, even their tongues. It said they never offered any or spoken any lie, even as they continued in this life. And this, when we hear about people who have not defiled themselves, and especially for us in Christian life and in Christian walk, these are people who have given themselves for the service and even for walking humbly with Christ without in any way getting entangled in the life and lifestyles of this world. They denied themselves even when everybody was celebrating in chapter 13, when everybody was mingling and doing all what it takes for them to just be part of the beast worship. They were able to keep themselves pure. And even as we look at this 144, I keep on asking myself, and I guess you're also asking yourself, then what am I able to even deny myself so that I can continue being pure? Because we are told they kept themselves pure and they went everywhere where the Lamb was. And this is a very good mark of an evangelist, a very good mark of a Christian. Even as we continue this journey of life, that where Christ is, where the name of Christ is mentioned, that is where each one of us would want to be. Not where every other thing or the systems of the world are being crafted. But for us, we want to be where Christ is. How many of us would want to deny ourselves in a time like now, where there are so many things going on in our lives, so many challenges going on in our lives, but those who are working in different spaces, where we are talking about corruption in terms of all what come to your mind when you talk about corruption. And in this age, when we are talking about even the gayism and the LGBTQ, and in some spaces, for those who work in the NGO world, where you cannot even get supported if you are not speaking that language, where we are having a lot of pressures even in our families, a lot of separation, where we are bringing children in very families that are not functional. But for us who are called by the name of the Lord, what are we able even to sacrifice to be sure that regardless of all what is going on in our lives, we are able to stand, be firm, and follow Christ and defend his cross at any one moment. And even as we look at this 14